For you, what's going on here today?
So, as a lot of people know, we just finished a terminal reconstruction. We have this beautiful facility, and when we take a look at the airport and looking at our planning needs, for the future, we're kind of at a point of, okay, now what's next? So this project is really an effort to take a very conscious and proactive look at the entire airport and really prioritize what needs we have moving forward at this point.
And what are some of those needs? I mean, what are the things that are jumping out as priorities right now?
Sure. So the four main focus areas that we're looking at, one and probably the biggest one, we're looking at our airfield geometry. Particularly, we have overlapping runway ends, and the FAA has identified some potential safety concerns with that, and so they just want us to take a look at that geometry and really look at if there's something different that we can do that might be better than what we currently have. So that's probably the biggest aspect of the airport that we're looking at, certainly the one that impacts the airport the most. In addition to that, we're also looking at our terminal facility on the secure side. So the most recent project focused on everything from the security checkpoint land side from there. We're taking just a quick look at the terminal concourse. We have some call it heavier maintenance and equipment replacement coming up, and we want to make sure that whatever work we do at this point in that facility really prepares that facility for any future growth or any updates that we need.
What goes into paying for projects like these, from the airport perspective?
Sure. So this project was funded partially through the FAA, through the Airport Improvement Program, or AIP, and the FAA, through the AIP program, has X number of dollars that are dedicated to our airport every year, required by law, that has to come to our airport. And it's from those funds that we've put this project together. Those funds pay for 90% of the project. The state of Wisconsin Bureau of Aeronautics pays for 5%, and the airport pays out of local funds the remainder 5% of it. So for the local community, it's really a great benefit to be able to do a project like this for really minimal cost to the airport.
And you mentioned the local community. You've got an open house going on this evening. I see quite a few members of the community coming by and seeing what's going on with the airport. What level of involvement? I mean, are you looking for feedback from them?
At this point, yes, we're looking for feedback. We're also just looking to keep everyone informed and give everyone an opportunity to see what we have going on and what we're looking at. Throughout this project, we've made a very conscious effort to engage the community. In addition to this event, we assembled a technical advisory committee, which included members of airport tenants, local government leaders, local business and community leaders, to really make sure that we're taking a good solid look at every aspect of the airport. And this meeting tonight is just one of those opportunities that we see to reach out and make sure that we're involving everyone in the conversation.
In the short amount of time that the meeting has been going on, have you heard any comments, anything?
The main comments that we've heard so far, some of the runway alternatives that we at least have on paper as possible options do impact some land to the south of the airport, and that's probably been the biggest concern that people have brought up, and certainly something that we're sensitive to and happy to hear their feedback on, and we'll certainly take into consideration as we're moving forward to selecting an alternative.
Would you have to purchase that land then from those landowners? How would that go?
There are a couple of alternatives that we're looking at that would require some land acquisitions. To what extent and to what degree we can mitigate that and minimize that, we haven't taken a detailed look at yet. We've just taken a high-level view, and if we decide that that's really the route that we'll have to go, then we'll start looking at that in more detail. But we're not to a point at this point where we've decided, it's going to take measures like that to move forward.
What is the time aspect of this? When do you think that these changes could start to take place?
So the master plan project as a whole will take a total of about 18 months to complete. So we're looking at next spring, early summer 2018 before this project will be wrapped up, and we'll have all of our alternatives and a plan moving forward for when we'll implement those alternatives. Some of them will start as early as next year. With other projects that we have planned right now, anything on the airfield side for runway alternatives, we're probably talking at least 5 years before we would see any construction on the ground, because we'd have to look at environmental impacts, things like that, and all the approvals that come along with a project of that scale. It'll take at least a few years to get everything approved and moving.
And does that include like the maintenance or the storage hangar?
The snow removal equipment facility, probably that one potentially could be a little bit sooner than that, because it's not quite as extensive of a project, but as a part of the master plan, we'll look at all the projects, the funding that we anticipate being available for them, and how we can plan those out effectively.